Welcome friends to another r/malicious compliance video. If you're a kind soul and you want to help out today, make sure to hit the like and subscribe buttons down below. That said, our first story of the day is by Captain B. Pugwash. Double malicious compliance. I felt bad about one, but certainly not the other. This was easily about 8 or 9 years ago. I was working in a call center. We were sort of a middleman between a selection of theme parks and hundreds of hotels that customers could book as a nice package holiday. Now, most people will call up the theme park, think they're talking to the location itself, but actually be talking with a bunch of part-timers in an office nowhere near. Depending which brand they called, we'd answer as that brand, and all in all, it was painless. There was a website, but we were there in case of special requirements. Sometimes people didn't want to book online, etc., etc. Now, the parks we support are fairly popular, so much so people do fly in specifically to have holidays there. This means the job was two things. Wonderful for some families, these were the once-in-a-lifetime trips, and you were the person helping them get the holiday they wanted. The other side was pure heck. If the holiday went to poop, you know full well it's somehow our fault. We had all sorts of calls, people screaming, threatening us, etc., etc. I had a good track record, often closing sizable packages and always went a little further, sorting out some balloons in the room for little Timmy's birthday, notifying the park to add Tom's birthday alongside the other kids to celebrate his special 45th, random acts of kindness. I was often told by management to remember to stay in my lane, and while it was nice, I should be on the next call, not emailing the hotel to arrange the unpaid for bits and bobs. Now, one day, a family called me and I could tell immediately they were posh. They were flying in and were looking for our top options, top hotel, unlimited fast-track tickets, the whole lot. I went in immediately and suggested one of the on-site hotels, asking what favorite characters the kids going had, etc. However, the woman booking heard wonderful things about this alternative hotel. We're talking 5-star, head chef won an award for cooking a pigeon so well, other pigeons would offer themselves to be next. All fine, sorted it all out. Booking came to $12,000. Threw my discount on there, I pulled all the bells and whistles out. Boss comes over raving. What a deal, what a close, I'll go tell my boss. Wanders off. Hours later, the family calls back. Woman had since Googled the on-site hotel and was stunned at how wonderful it was, as it was for her granddaughter. Could she be a pain and rebook there? Yes, absolutely. I have to cancel the old booking first. The refund can take the usual however many days, and the second booking made immediately. She went fine, went through, and red alert, her Amex is stalled as two $12,000 shots in a short pace caused some issues. I checked out the system, found out it was us blocking it, not her, and had to get a manager to resolve it. I explained I can't do anything right now to finalize it, but let me call in a favor. I call into the hotel and explain everything. Could they do me a favor and hold the rooms until we get it all hashed out? They say yes. You want your usual balloons BS? Their words. I say yes, go on then. I log everything in our system. All the conversations who I spoke to when I went hard, as it was a small holiday here, and go ask my manager. She's fuming because she's been bragging to the brass about how well she's doing because I closed the sale, and suddenly asking her to refund the amount. I say yeah, but it's to book it again. The second booking was actually more and we'd end up better off, but she wobbled about it. Tells me she will do it, but it's the end of my shift, so go home. I beg her to call the family. She said she would. 2 days after my next shift, I sit down and see that my weekly total is missing the $12,000, but not replaced with the $15,000. I go ask my manager what's happened. Did she speak to them? They say no, they didn't answer, they'll call back. I asked if I could call them myself. They say no, get back on the phone. This is not your job is to answer the phones. I protested. This could be $15,000 we lose. We should chase it. None of your extra BS this time, go get on the phones. I'm a little pissed off, but there's nothing I can do, so I decide the smart thing to do is to log everything new in our system, including what my manager told me, and just answer the phones. 2 days pass, and I get a phone call from the family asking for me to get patched over. They were ready to pay again. Amazing, let's do it. I call the hotel, sort out the package, and all is ready to go. The red alert comes up again. My manager hadn't greenlit the payment, however, as the refund had been processed, it was just sat and pending. All my manager had to do was hit a button and the family would get the confirmation email. I speak to my manager, she tells me to screw off and to stop bothering over this. I mark all that in the account on the system and promptly have a week off. I come back in, it's a Sunday night, slowest shift of the week, usually people phoning to tweak a booking, ask what time the park opens, etc. But then one phone call came into a newbie. The screamers are easier to deal with. They come in hot and you just kind of play kind and calm. They look deranged, and as all calls are recorded, if it needs escalating, you look sane. It's the calm, collected complaints which are the scariest, and this family's grandma, she's definitely killed people. The poor newbie got this call, and we knew immediately something was up. He nervously asked if I was on a call and if he could patch them over. Sure thing. It's the grandma, and she's not happy. Calm, but not happy. They had flown in at the park's hotel, but as no payment had been received, they weren't allowed to check in. I checked the booking. My manager never processed. They were sat in the lobby, 4 kids, 2 sets of parents, and a grandma, and nowhere to stay. I call my manager. It was 9 p.m. at night at that point, and she didn't answer. Tried 3 more times and got an email saying it's her night off, don't bother her. Another one logged in the system. I actually then called the hotel front desk, explained I was balloon BS and needed help. The staff there knew me and gave me a break, but they didn't have the power. The hotel manager did. Got patched to him. Explained everything and he went, okay, here's the deal. We can put the family in the rooms, but we need to charge someone the room. I'm going to charge the company you work for, and you guys can hash it out later. This is where the first malicious compliance piece I felt guilty about. I'd done everything by the book. And there was this family stuck stranded in the lobby, and charging the company for this too was just a no-no. Like, lose your job, have them come after you for the money type no-no. So I tried calling every contact I had, but it was 11 or 12 at night at this point and no one was answering. So I hit screw it. I called the hotel back and told them to do it, knowing full well I'd be job hunting the next day. Logged it and left. Wasn't due in till 10 a.m., but got a call at 6:30 telling me I needed to be there by 8. I arrive, get frog marched into a meeting room with 3 levels of bosses in front of me, my manager, her manager, and his manager. They also had a single printout with an invoice for $15,000 from the hotel in my name. They went in on me, 20 minutes of yelling, shouting, one left to get HR in for an immediate dismissal. HR arrived and only asked one question. Can you justify why you comped a $15,000 package? The only thing I could think to say was, check the logs. My manager looked thunderstruck. Her boss looked perplexed and his boss just looked at my boss with a scowl, and all 3 told me to wait there while they left and HR sat with me. 10 minutes later, I was told to take the day leave, and when I come back the next day, my manager was on the phones like the rest of us. And I was told I'd be reporting to her boss alongside the wider team. Learn 2 things: do nice things, and people do nice things for you. Also, log everything, emails, conversations. If you ever feel it wasn't right, make a note and timestamp it for the love of God. If you found yourself in a situation like this where your boss was dragging your feet and restricting you from finishing this, but you knew you would get some kind of commission off this $15,000 sale, would you say screw it, neglect your duties, and make sure you complete this sale? Let me know in the comments down below. Our next story is by the Sean Beeg. Boss tries to transfer me to a terrible position for my mental health. Didn't work out. There's a good bit of history behind this, but essentially I was injured after being attacked in work. I developed PTSD and eventually had to go sick. I was sent to the organization's medical officer for assessment. He sent me for an independent assessment because he didn't believe I had PTSD. Independent medical assessment not only said I had PTSD, but that it was directly as a result of my injury in work. I was given reduced hours at full pay and a position away from the public for at least 3 months. I applied for some unpaid leave for the end of the 3 months to spend some time with my family and prepare myself before I went back full time. I spoke with my line manager during this time and was happy to return to my old position. During this time, my district manager changed. He got wind of my absence and decided I was not genuine. He decided to transfer me to a much busier spot where I'd be dealing with a lot of difficult people. I told him straight up I was not able to do that. It was the area I had been attacked in and I'd have a lot of difficulty there. He said I couldn't go back to my old spot because that's where I went sick from. Even the medical officer said there was no reason to transfer me, but the boss stuck to his guns. He said he couldn't leave me in my old spot because it would be bad for my mental health. I'd be working alone most of the time, and there was no documented reason I would have trouble in my new position. This was all in April 2020. I'm sure you know what global event was kicking off then, so I decided to get some documentation. I went to my own doctor. He was disgusted at how I was being treated. He gave me a few tests. The weeks of stress and anxiety had raised my blood pressure and given me some breathing issues, similar to hyperventilating. I had a few other small issues too. He signed me off work for 6 weeks, citing stress-induced breathing issues and high blood pressure, and stated in a letter that these placed me at a higher risk of adverse effects from COVID. My boss was not happy with this at all, so he sent me back to the medical officer for assessment. The medical officer took one look at my doctor's documentation and decided to do a consult with me by phone instead of in person. He decided that I was too high risk to work with others and issued a direction that I was not to work unless it was in a well-ventilated office on my own. Otherwise, I was to be given paid leave. No such position was available, so I was placed on paid leave. Towards the end of the year, someone noticed I wasn't around. A line manager contacted me and told me I'd have to be reassessed as I couldn't expect to have free holidays. In the meantime, they'd set me up working from home. It took them till January this year to set that up. I went for reassessment again. I told the medical officer how great I was getting on working from home. The medical officer thought that me working from home was ideal, so directed it should continue indefinitely. All I originally wanted was to go back to my old familiar job. I should also note that they never replaced me there. It was a one-man public role and has been closed for nearly 2 years now. Well, when the boss is an absolute jerk, downplays your medical concerns, which is ridiculous, no surprise that when you go through the medical system, the doctors are like, yeah, there's actual issues here that you need to be taken care of accordingly. So frankly, the boss can go shove it because whether they believe it or not, multiple doctors are saying, yes, there are legitimate issues, and yes, it directly relates to the job, so your bias is ridiculous. This next story is by username dealer. No idling? How about rocking? Yesterday, I was driving with a friend, and he had to go into a store to pick up something quickly, so I parallel parked on the street in a spot that allowed free parking for 10 minutes or less. Our town has a no idling bylaw for vehicles. For context, I drive a manual, and this parking space is on a very gentle incline, just enough to hold the brakes on to stop it from rolling. I'm sitting there, engine running, when I hear a tap on the window, and a bylaw guy with a power trip comes up to my car. Here's how the conversation went. The bylaw guy says, "Turn off your car, you can't be idling here." I say, "I'm sorry, sir, my friend just went in to grab something, he won't be a minute." The bylaw guy says, "I don't care, laws are laws and you must comply, or I'll give you a fine right here and now." I was not a fan of his hostility over nothing. Cue malicious compliance. I say, "So I can't idle?" They say, "No, turn off your car right now." I put the car in gear, release the brake, let it roll back enough that I don't touch the car behind me, and gently let off the clutch until it rolls forward, never breaking eye contact with him. He says, "Turn off your car." I say, "Hey, you said no idling. My car is moving back and forth. I'm not idling, and you know that if you find me for rocking like this, it wouldn't hold up in court, since I'm not idling. And good luck lying about it." I point to my dash cam. "So either fine me or I'll call an actual cop to get you to stop harassing me. What will it be?" You could almost see the steam coming from his ears just as my buddy comes back. I give him the biggest poop-eating grin as we drive away. I normally don't do malicious compliance related stuff, but this was very satisfying to do. Honestly, if I was in that position and I knew my friend would be just a minute, I'd probably be all coy and be like, "Wait, why is there a law about idling? What's bad about it?" And after they explain that, hopefully I would be like, "So you're saying I can't idle here? Is it like that everywhere around here?" Just doing all I can to totally waste as much time so my friend can just get back and leave. I don't know if they'd go along with it though. And our final story of the day is by RB Clark 47. Can't use my airline flying points for myself? Fine, I'll leave. A friend of mine in a semiconductor manufacturing company was one of the hotshot marketing and application engineers. On his own, he put together a series of seminars to show prospective users or customers the benefits of using a bunch of the company's integrated circuits in their designs. He went on to make short half-hour videos that could be viewed online. The company signed a contract with him that stated they were his property. The company was acquired by a megacorp, and their legal people evidently signed off on the contract as well. Cue malicious compliance. He was a big man, 6'2", 230 pounds, in his late 50s. He also had a condition that caused a considerable amount of joint pain. His job required him to fly at least once a month, but because of the frequency, he could upgrade to business class or better, and the extra room helped him with the pain of traveling. The company AA card was used for all travel, and his new 30s manager decided that the company owned his frequent flyer miles and he couldn't use them to upgrade. This got rather heated, and the manager wouldn't back down. So the company offered early retirement to certain people over 59 who'd been with them for more than X years. My friend stepped up and got a bonus, and 2 days before the end, deleted all the videos. And he gave them a copy of the contract, reminding them they were his property, also stating that the company couldn't restore them from backups and use them. Several months later, he ended up contracting for his former company, introducing his videos online and answering questions afterwards. I'm sure he was very happy with this arrangement. No travel, no boss hassles, and a nice check for each time he did it. So often do I hear these stories of corporate management trying their best to cut down costs by doing absolutely useless or overly restrictive things that only end up pissing off the people who are already saving the company countless amounts of dollars, and it just time and time again blows up in their face because they don't realize how stupid they're being. No, the one man that holds down the major part of our business, you can't use all the frequent flyer miles you racked up. Wait, where are you going? I mean, whether they imagined it working out like that or not, getting to work from home and getting paid to do all the useless stuff you already did, fantastic results. Sounds like the perfect, cozy retirement job. But with that being said, that's all the time we have for today. So of all these stories I've read today, which is your favorite and why? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you haven't yet, if you could like and subscribe, that would mean a lot to me. Whatever you do, whether it's liking, subscribing, turning notifications on, all of it helps grow this channel, and I appreciate the heck out of it. So until next time, I'll see you all tomorrow with some more stories.